Yeah, sure.
Hello, my name's Sophie. I'm in my final semester as well. One thing that I'm really interested in is just trialling different experiences within education, rural, inner city, overseas. But it's kind of hard to know whether you start in rural, whether you'll stay there for 5 years, or, if it is good to trial all of those things and then find out what sector maybe suits you best. And I know, Melinda, you worked overseas for a long time, and whether you just have any words of advice on how to kind of maybe structure how you go about that, or whether you should trial everything, or just some tips, I guess.
Well, I just basically went where the door opened, because when I graduated from my undergraduate degree here in Brisbane, there were no jobs. And literally you had to go further north than Mount Isa to get a job it was early 1990s. And so I ended up going into a childcare centre because I knew some people who had a centre, and then the lady who was in charge of the centre left abruptly. So I fell into the same situation where I then got put into the position of the centre director, and I was fresh out of uni, and the doors just kept opening. And then I went from there and I wanted to get back into a school, and I had heard about a school in Thailand that was looking for primary school teachers. And I guess for me, I have a sense of adventure, and I guess being a teacher, I like that in my classroom as well, and that's why I like being an early childhood teacher, because you get a sense of adventure every day with children. But I knocked on a door in Thailand, and the door opened, and I went and taught there for a couple of years. And then after that, I then had a real passion for literacy. So I wanted to come back to Queensland, and I did a postgrad here at UQ. And then another door opened in the independent sector here within Queensland. So I guess I kind of just followed, had one experience, and from whatever I gained from that experience, I then sort of knocked on another door, and then it opened. But I kind of was very similar to the other experience where I just put my CV out there, and I didn't limit myself to what I would never have dreamt that I would go and teach in Thailand as a second-year teacher. Never, ever. And that was before the internet. And you couldn't even buy bread or milk. I had no TV, no telephone, and I lived next to a rice paddy. And I remember flying in, and the administrator of the school picked me up from the airport and put me in this house and said, "There you go, I'll see you Monday morning." And I sat there going, what have I just done? And I guess it's through those experiences that build you as a teacher as well, so that you can go into a classroom, and when you're put in front of a challenging situation, you just kick yourself into a mode, you're creative, and you just draw upon your life experiences. So I wouldn't think too hard about it. I would just sort of knock on doors and see where that takes you. And then for me, I've really enjoyed literacy and teaching reading to young children. And then I came back, I did more study, then I went back out into the workforce, and that's how I ended up doing it. And when I went to the UK, it was because a friend of mine was teaching in the UK, and she said, "Oh, they need a teacher." And they did a phone interview with me, and it was at 3 a.m. in the morning. They'd forgotten there was a time difference between the UK and Australia. And I got phoned up at 3 a.m. in the morning, no joke. And so I answered the phone, and they started a full-on interview with me. And I woke up. And I don't know how I got the job, but I did. And so my husband and I flew off to the UK. And then I was there for a couple of years, and the head said, "I see something in you. I want you to be in a leadership position." So there I stepped into the leadership position. So I didn't sort of actively go and map it out. Okay, in 5 years' time, I want to be here, here, and here. It just happened.
Lou, you've got a varied background with being a leader in different type of schools. What advice could you give?
Yeah, the experiences just add to your repertoire. The scenarios change since we were a little bit younger. So if you're looking for a real remote experience, they'll offer you permanency because they struggle to fill their school quotas. By all means, do what Liz says. Go read the school newsletters. You'll get a feel for the place and a feel for the community. And back to the point over here before around once you're in those communities, make the connections, and it's that fine balance. You guys are a little bit older. I just turned 20 when I started teaching, and I had 18-year-olds in my classroom, and we were going to the same nightclubs in the little country towns, which was fraught with danger. But in this day and age, there is such a need. And my sister was principal in Mount Isa for 14 years. She would start most years with 4 and 5 positions not filled. you go to Ipswich and they can't fill their positions. It's bizarre. So you guys are in the opportunity of picking and choosing. Do you do a city experience first, then go country? I've got a lot of young first, second and third years in the college. I incentivise that by offering them boomerang transfers. So I give them that 2 or 3 years of really good grounding. Then I say, now off you go. Do your 3-year experience. One teacher came to me and said, look, I want a country experience, my wife and my 3 girls. I've been here for 5 years. He's a maths teacher. How hard was it to place him in the country? I just rang my brother in Mackay, who's principal in Mackay. I said, do you want a great maths teacher, quality assured for 3 years, then I'll get him back? And he said, let me think about that, yes. So he's getting that experience, and it's highly unlikely he'll actually come back. He'll get a hot job because he's a really good operator. But there's no one magic formula around it. But the opportunities are out there in every sector around Queensland. Queensland's going to New South Wales and Victoria trying to pinch their teachers. We're trying to work overseas. There's just a massive shortage. So one of my music teachers has just got a job in Dubai. And that's an amazing experience for her too. So it's you own the market.